The young in India for a very long time didn't have a voice. What the father said was what went. But I think that's changing. The connection between money and mentality. This is the important shift. I think Indians would like to be American, but in an Indian kind of way.
I'm Manleen and I teach in the French school. Well, actually, I'm an assistant maternelle. I'm a middle class woman. I'm 30. I'm divorced. I was married about 5 years ago when I was not ready for it. It was an arranged match and it didn't work for very long. So it ended in about 7 months. Yes, the marriage was all that time was so bad that divorce afterwards came as a relief.
If you say that the entire political idea of emancipation can really only be thought about through love or marriage choice, then actually Indians are not emancipated at all. They don't want choice in love.
The people who want arranged marriages is climbing. From the last surveys, it is more now than it is earlier.
Any unattended or suspicious articles like briefcases, bags, toys,
And what happens in an arranged marriage is, I mean, especially in my case, what I've seen, you go meet somebody and you can't just say no. You just can't get up and say, no, I'm not, I don't know, I don't want it. Because then everybody will be over your back and saying, what is wrong with him? Why don't you like him? There's suddenly a lot of pressure built up which comes from nowhere. So the moment you agree to meet somebody is kind of agreeing to marry him, which is what I don't agree with. It doesn't work for me. I didn't want to get married. There was no option left for me. The only way open at that point was to run away from the house. Relocate. I knew that people will talk about them. I just can't do that. So I did not, and then I went ahead and I lived through hell because of that. But then they also supported me. They were not like, okay, you have to go and you have to live in that relationship, come what may. They supported me when I came back. And I love them. Living in my parents' house is easy as well as difficult. It's easy because of the emotional support I get from them and the warmth and the family circle that we have, the way we interact. It's difficult because there are restrictions on your freedom and there's a time by what you have to be back home, there's a curfew. And if I'm doing something that keeps me out late, then that creates tension for them as well as me. I become tense because they become tense. Sometimes if I get really mad and there's a conflict, that's when I feel like, okay, maybe I should live alone. I've never very seriously pursued this thought of action. If I want to live separately, it'll be probably easier for me to move from the city or the country and then go live there alone because it's more understandable rather than in the same city. Anyway, I'm sure my mom will move in with me. She will not let me live alone. That's what she says.
Actually, it is extremely difficult in Delhi for a woman to live alone. The landlords will not sometimes accept will not accept single women to be living on their own in apartments and flats, and if they may even ask for your marriage certificate at times. It's much more easier in Bangalore and Bombay. The Delhi situation is different. North India has always been more conservative when it comes to women, and something that still has to catch on.
I am a modern mother. My son can bring any person. Even I tell my daughter can get married, but within the customs. Daughter has to live in the man's house. That's why we are not allowing her to go in other caste and religion and strangers people. It's not that safe. So it's better for her if the people are sometimes knowing same customs and traditions. We have to know about them. It's our right. I am not against the freedom of the girls. We don't go against their wishes. It's between their consent and father's consent. The result is always better.
I frankly don't see any reason to just stand up and get married just because everybody is getting married, like what I said. So for me, there has to be a motivation to get married. I have to find somebody and like somebody enough to be able to make that move. That okay, fine, I'll change my life for you. Why would I just do that for somebody? You know, somebody chosen. Okay, today from tomorrow onwards, there'll be a ceremony and you'll go start living in that house. Why? Moving away and living separately is better than that. Yeah? Shoes. Sure.
The good thing is that women who have bad marriages or misfortunes, they have a right, especially if the original marriage was an arranged marriage, they have a right to return to the parental home. But this has its costs, and one of them is that you have to maintain the proprieties that the parents and the wider family accept.
It is possible that I live for 10 or 20 years at my parents' house, but situation will change soon because my brother will get married. When I say he will get married, I'm supposing that he will. And most of the times when even the boys get married, they stay in the same house. So it will depend on how I fit in the new situation, the new family situation. If I find it comfortable, I'll stay. If I find it uncomfortable, I'll move out. But also knowing my parents, not be willing to hurt them. Also for what? If it was really, really important for me, I might. But I also want to live with my family.
I don't mind an arranged marriage, but I think I should know a girl a bit before getting married to her. I mean, even for like 5 or 6 times, I should meet her. I would prefer a wife from my religion, and I don't want a girl which is too ultra modern. Ultra modern means who likes to go out to the pub every second day. She drinks. If she is a foreigner, if she is ready to accept my culture and my religion, then I don't think there should be a problem. Obviously, if she is from a Western country, then she must be Westernized, but I am ready to adjust to a certain extent, but she should also be ready to adjust.
Yes, if she is saying she am going to marry some American woman, or she is coming with the drink and the smoking, then that's big no.
It is perfectly normal to live with your parents. I'm still living with my parents because I'm, most importantly, I'm in the same city as they are living in. If I tell my parents today that I want to move out of the house, they will just flip out. They're like, why do you want to move out of the house when you have your house here? Why do you want to pay for the house? And no. So I would love to do that, but the reason for that is not the desire to have a freer life, but the desire to do that is to have more experiences in life. I haven't brought a girlfriend here because if I do that, I'll have to introduce her to my parents, and that might lead to them contemplating marriage, and that is not something I want to do right now. So I haven't.
So you are not too free.
I'm not too free. Yes, no, not entirely free. Yes.
Love between husbands and wives is slightly like a forbidden fruit, because families realize that this is a very dangerous thing. Because if husbands and wives become their own little world and women turn on their sexuality to bring sons away from their obligations to their fathers, this is the strong mother-in-law, daughter-in-law sort of fear of what women can do with their sexuality. So the idea that conjugal relationship is a romantic one is actually new, and people are just trying it out.
Okay, I don't have everything, but who does? Who's satisfied with 100%? So if I'm 80% satisfied with my life, why would I change that?
In a curious way, and despite appearances, they're even more conservative in this regard than they were 2 generations back. When India got independence, there were many notable couples who married for love, who married intercommunally, who married outside their caste, who eloped and ran away, because love was connected with nation building, with revolution, with belonging to a political party, with all these things.
I had English friends in the office. They were all very friendly with us. Even the French girls. There were some French girls working there in central London, and we used to go out with them, party with them at the pub. We used to dance with them. Obviously, yeah, there is a difference between English girls and Indian girls. They are more open. I really wanted to have some kind of relation with a girl over there, but I was more worried about the money which I had to earn. So even if a girl used to ask me to go out at night, I used to think that, okay, tomorrow weekend shift, I can get paid time and a half, and then I can save that money.
Young people are actually very market savvy and comfort seeking. Young people are not prepared to sacrifice that much for love. What they'd like is to live in their parental homes, and this is a traditional social expectation. With liberalization, it's much more important. Families are using marriages of young people to consolidate their class position.
But personally, the idea of an arranged marriage does not appeal to me, because I find it really hard to believe that you go meet 10 people and then meet for coffee a couple of times and then say, yes, I want to marry this person.
For life.
For life.
Caste is very important condition, but for middle class it becomes now much more education. They have to be similarly educated, professionals. Earning power of the boy is important. Women also now have to be educated.
But then again, if you look at the fact that most women cannot get out of their house to actually find love, they have to resort to some form of an arranged marriage, right?
Only 4 to 5% marriages now are marriages of choice, or you can call them love marriages. And each arranged marriage, dowry is an arrangement. There's no marriage without dowry. Unless a boy and a girl, and very rare when a boy and a girl choose to marry without dowry, where boys will refuse dowry.
मैं उससे शादी नहीं करना चाहती, मैं उससे शादी नहीं कर सकती, नहीं कर सकती।
नहीं कर सकती? क्या मतलब तुम्हारा? अगर मैं कहता हूँ करोगी, तो करोगी।
पापा, अगर पैसे का सवाल है, तो मैं कुछ भी करूँगी। मैं मजदूरी करूँगी, मैं पत्थर तोड़ूँगी, ईंटें उठाऊँगी। सिर्फ उससे शादी करने को मत कहो, पापा, please.
If the girl or the boy says no, It is not that you are going to be forced. In middle class, at least, there are no longer kind of forced marriages at all.
And I don't think parents always listen to their children also. That doesn't happen. Sometimes they just feel that what they are doing for them is right, so they don't even listen to them. They're so convinced that they are doing the right thing, and that ends up being the wrong thing.
Arranged marriages are less broken, not because of more love, but because of less expectations.
Why people think that arranged marriage is more stable if it happens young is not because there's a sexual comparison. It's because the girls have not tasted independence in other senses from their families. That is, they haven't had a job, they haven't had their own money, their own salary and whatnot. So basically, in an arranged marriage, you move from the cosseted environment of your parental home into your husband's home.
In some sections, I would say that the arranged marriage is being completely, reset in a different way, because there are now matrimonial columns, there's the internet, there are marriage bureaus, and a lot of young people are themselves taking the initiative to arrange their own marriages.
ठीक है, मैं जबरदस्ती नहीं करूँगा.
Thank you, Papa, thank you.
The play that we were doing was Fiddler on the Roof, and Fiddler on the Roof is set in the early 1900s in a Jewish village, it has sunk deep in tradition. It does everything according to sort of traditions. We could even equate that to India, so a girl would take the consent of her parents before she finds a suitor. You could draw many parallels with the way Indian community works.
Still people believe in the traditional values, in the family values. So we can say certainly, yes, to a great extent, Fiddler on the Roof is very much valid, very much relevant. It is a metaphor for the Indian public too.
Women are careful about not being seen having a bad reputation, or their reputation not being sullied by later on.
Moi, je suis français à Delhi. Au fil des années, avoir des petites amies indiennes m'a pas paru plus difficile qu'avoir des petites amies étrangères. Par contre, la rencontre n'est pas forcément facile. Si on veut vraiment attraper le cœur d'une indienne, il faut peut-être être prêt à faire du flirt à l'ancienne, à lui faire la cour, comme nous le faisions en Occident du temps de mon grand-père. Mais c'est un certain charme.
I'll see you later. Tomorrow. Adema. Ciao.
Ciao.
It's absolutely unthinkable to have a relationship with a foreigner. I have a friend who did get married to a German, but her family was okay with it. But mine, I don't think they'll be happy with it, because they won't be happy with it even if he was an Indian who does not follow our religion.
Girls having sexual freedom is not acceptable at all, at no cost.
Is it possible to decide to live with your boyfriend without being married?
It's not possible.
Before marriage, you're not supposed to have any sexual contact with a man. It's believed in, it's practiced by a large section of society, even now. So virgin in marriage is real.
In my reading, there is a great deal of anxiety about what they call the first night and the loss of virginity and the expression of masculine performance. There's enormous anxiety about this moment, not only for proving virginity or otherwise, but for making that huge adjustment into sexuality.
अब देखूं दूर से मैं घर मेरा घर परिवार उस पार है मजहब मेरा और इस पार मेरा प्यार.
Have you already been in love?
Yes, I have been in love. I've been in a relationship that was almost like 4 years back.
Means you have sex with somebody?
No, we do not believe in, premarital sex. We do not get into such relationship before marriage. This is the kind of value that's been given to our parents. I hope to be one.
But your parents shouldn't know if you are still virgin or
But
not.
would I not? I think I would not be able to sleep, or I would not be able to look at myself in the mirror, if I cheat.
There also they are breaking those rules, but in a very, 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 very hidden way, in a very, very silent way. No girl will come to you and say, "Oh, I had sex before marriage." Nobody will say that.
You have never felt physical attraction?
Yes, I have.
To
I
some
cannot
boys?
deny that. I have.
Very attraction.
Yeah, but generally they're like really unapproachable kind of men. They're generally on the screen. I'm talking about stars.
What do you do in that case?
I don't do anything. And I was like, okay, I wish I was in place of that girl, that woman on the screen.
It is not easy to speak about sex in India. How to approach sexuality, how to talk about it, or whether to talk about it at all, those are influenced by the models you have. And those models are changing. You see the models changing in Indian movies itself. There was no kiss allowed at all. Now at least you are starting that.
About the 1990s, actually, there were no books or seminars, or very, very little was done in the area of sexuality, that even in the women's movement.
Je suis sorti avec plusieurs indiennes, je suis jamais sorti avec une vierge.